drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody.
Ah, he wants to go off-road!
You ain't gonna shoot that shot when you get the land?
No, he was right on my ass, man.
You wide open.
Who wrote this?
I did.
Ask him if he got the letter.
Did you get the letter?
What letter?
What's up, man? About to catch a fade, huh?
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya.
Living dead.
Drop these. Everybody.
Let the hate flow through you.
Damn.
Whoa.
I'm loving the new intro.
Yeah, dude. That Friday intro is solid. I'm a fan. Good job to Justin Wallace.
Yes.
All right. Michael Colby, are you up? Are you starting this off?
No.
All right. Well, everyone watching, thank you very much. We are the Real Boys. This is a very weird, eclectic movie review group full of podcasters, comedians, novelists, a guy who does nothing, and just some other people, really. Whoever just really wants to hang out.
I want to know who's the guy who does nothing.
Don't worry about it.
Please save your questions till the end. Yeah, so what we do on Mondays is we actually take our favorite movies and then we review them in order of our top 5 and whatever. And then on Fridays, what we do is we either review the new movies that get released or we let the thing, the real wheel spin around and see what garbage our friends and fans decided for us to watch and review. And for some reason, a good movie showed up. Like a good movie, guys.
Like a good movie. Like this is a good movie.
Yeah, like an actual film showed up on this thing, which is cool. So for those who don't know, we are going to be talking about and reviewing Starship Troopers. Awesome movie. Yeah, let's get into it. We do have obviously some friends. And for those who would like to know more, ACK. And I'll get to that later. But yeah, if you do have any comments about Starship Troopers or about Michael Colby's amazing headwear or how this Mickey Mouse on Phil's thing changes all the time. How does it keep moving? You must have a lot of holes. Either is it command strips or do you have a lot of holes in the wall?
It's all stickers.
Just all stickers. Wrapped
rolling
around
tape and just like praying to God.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's great. But yeah, so the boys who showed up today, obviously, my name is Zach Wiseman. You may know me or should know me or definitely can know me from some nobodies, all the weird stuff that we do. Silicon Angels, which is a really cool IT phone call about sex robots. We have a podcast show, which is a very weird show. We review very bad podcasts. Some are okay. Most of them are very, very bad. A lot of our stuff, obviously, Real Boys, Twitching Upstream, which is me and Dylan here, my main man on this side.
You'll figure it out eventually.
Dude, the fingers.
I have a very hard time with this.
I don't know what to tell you.
I can't do it. Anyway, but I'll let them introduce themselves and talk about their own stuff. So whoever wants to go next, I guess I'll let Dylan talk next since he was brought up earlier.
I mean, you kind of hit what we do. My name is Dylan. I'm part of Some Nobodies. In addition to all the podcasts that Zach names, I am, as of July, a regular contributor to the Apostrophes digital magazine from Venom Publishing. So every month you can tune into that. It's a free download. All right, cool. All right, I'll take it.
Back.
I appreciate that.
Oh, boy.
So, tune in every month. The issue I'm in should be coming out, I think, Monday. If you're listening to this live. If not, should be out there by July 12th. And then every month after. It's about podcast writing. So check it out.
Yeah.
Michael, you can go next.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Michael
Hi.
Colby, Jack
Hey,
Billings presents that'll be out. The new stuff's coming out soon, and then this, and then No Time to Binge, and then I Love This Terrible Game, and then Generation Clash, which is a fun new one that I'm doing with my very child, and we're talking about music and my generation's punk rock versus their generation's punk rock. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, I can sense the anticipation.
It's actually, it's gonna be, even I was expecting myself to be very down on it, but the two bands that I've listened to so far, I've actually enjoyed. So, and even bands that I've previously not enjoyed, I was introduced to stuff that I do enjoy. So, we can all learn and grow and learn to like new stuff.
Oh boy, can we?
Wow,
Not me.
Someone's getting wise.
Yeah.
Sage advice. I'm Phil Better, the podcast mogul. I host Invest in Yourself, the digital entrepreneur podcast, as well as the Phil Better Show, Stock Dirty to Me, and Better Pain, a wrestling podcast. And I produce the Money Grows on Trees podcast, A La Mood podcast, as well as 2 more that are currently in development. So yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
Rapid fire.
Stock,
Boom, 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 boom.
Stock Dirty to Me is the best name
it's
for
so
a
good.
boring ass podcast that I
Yeah.
can possibly
So
think of.
we decided to go to the group of 50,000 members and be like, hey, we're doing a live show for you that we're turning into a podcast. What do you want the name to be? And so we just started doing the show, and people started answering, and then we got 4 and we put it to a vote. And Stock Dirty was the one that won unanimously, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a good name for a podcast.
Solid name. Yeah, really. Solid name. Great job. So as you can tell, we have a wealth of talking knowledge and experience here. And so we're just going to talk about these movies and see what we think. And then at the end, we're going to review them. So like I said, if you have any comments, throw them up in the chat. We don't care. We'll talk about it.
We love it. And if you're rewatching it or listening to it, let us know. Jump on the fan page and leave your comments about this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will definitely see them, and I'll most likely comment as one of us 8.
Yeah.
Because I have all of your passwords, so I log in constantly.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Starship Troopers, right?
Yeah.
Let's get into this. So, Dylan, do you have any overall information on Starship Troopers? I know that it was based on a novel that was written by Robert Heinlein. The novel came out in 1957. Obviously, not wholeheartedly faithful to the novel the book turned into, because technically Paul Verhoeven, the director of this movie, did not like the novel very much. He thought it was pretty boring, but when he got the script, actually his wife read the script and told him it was a very, very good movie, and that he should look into it, and he tweaked it a little bit. And the thing is, I think this movie came out way before its time, honestly. What was it? Is it 1997? Is that
97? Yeah.
Yeah, 97 this movie came out, and when it came out, everyone was like, oh, this cool, weird, quirky action movie. And then like a couple years later, it was like, nah, that movie sucks or whatever. And then you watch it again, you're like, wait, this thing is actually smart.
Yeah.
Like,
it's really smart.
This got some business.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
The book is good. You kind of touched on it, but when Heinlein wrote this novel, it doesn't read so very novelistically. You will get some like character action and then just some description of what's going on, and then you will have characters go on these very long multi-page monologues about the benefits of requiring military service to vote, or why inflicting violence is the only way to affect actual change, or why humanity needs to constantly be like on guard and fight to earn things. And it's been described as fascist, and we don't get political on the Real Boys, but this is inevitable in this episode. It is very much a portrayal of what it would be like to live in a non exaggerated villainous fascist society. When Verhoeven read the book, he hated it. He hated the fact that it kind of advocated and defended and apologized for it, and wrote this movie. I've seen the theory that he wrote this as a propaganda film set in the world of the book. So everything's a little exaggerated. Everybody's really hot, and everybody like succeeds at what they're trying to do, despite the fact that if you watch the movie and pay attention, none of them actually earn the positions they're in. Right. They get
just fall into it.
The people who outrank them die, and they inherit the position despite their own lack of merit.
Yeah, especially our like hero of this movie. He fails at absolutely everything that he does.
He fails
at dying.
Yeah, and the only thing that he succeeds in is fighting. Like, and he barely even does that.
Well, and you see,
but I've never seen a more inept protagonist to a movie that just you're supposed to root for this guy, and I'm not. I don't know about anybody else.
And you see at the end of the movie, I mean, we're jumping around, whatever, it's Friday. But you see at the end of the movie that the propaganda narrator is saying, like, the new people in charge. And at the start of the movie, those people were the ones who were in control, and they all died horrifically. And you've got all the main characters in charge with their own young protege doing things behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
The movie it's a comment on, like, that cycle of warfare and such like that the book kind of endorses.
Now, I do have a question about the book.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where all of this romance shit comes from? Because
there is none of that in the book. As far as I can remember.
There is way too much of that, and they could have cut it out and made the movie 20 minutes shorter, and it would have been just as effective.
You have 3 triangles in there.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I disagree. I really do like it. But for those who don't know, Paul Verhoeven is the director of this movie, and he is a pretty prolific Dutch director. He got like a big business with the movie Hitchhiker, which came out like right before RoboCop did, and then obviously RoboCop, which put him on like the spectrum of like doing his thing. Then he got Total Recall, and then you could tell like, hey, maybe this guy's like a real dope sci-fi guy. Then he swerves hard, right? He does one of the hardest swerves a director can do, and then he does Basic Instinct. Now, Basic Instinct obviously is that super like sexy, spicy thriller that made Sharon Stone very famous. He follows up Basic Instinct with Showgirls, which a lot of people say Showgirls is a very, very bad movie, and it's actually like a kitsch thing to say, like, oh, it's Showgirls bad. Now, obviously, Verhoeven saw something special in it. I haven't rewatched it yet, so I don't really know. When I did see it when it first came out, I was not a fan of it. But once again, now I'm older. I like Verhoeven. And then after Showgirls,
I think Showgirls benefits from time. I think people can watch it now like they watch The Room, where it's like, ooh, this is bad, but I'm having a good time.
Yeah, because, well, so he follows up Showgirls with Starship Troopers. After Starship Troopers, he does Hollow Man, which is another creepy-ass movie, but we're not going to talk about that one. But when he gets to Starship Troopers, that's when people start realizing Verhoeven has something to say that he isn't just saying. Now, if you watch the movie Starship Troopers, you notice that everyone's acting a little harder than they should. The scenes are a little more exposed. Everything's kind of a soap opera, and that was intentional. He was so into everybody. Like, he told everyone how I need you to act. He chose people based on their ability to overact, and he wanted to make sure that certain things were done in a specific way to make fun of military, to make fun of the way that Americans view war and how we just look at normal things. And I think that the coolest thing about this movie is how he constantly makes you part of this movie, because everything is a newsreel. You're constantly catching things from a newsreel. It's almost like you're getting phone updates on how this war is. And I think that was the coolest thing when I watch it again. It's like, man, this is so just friggin' cool. But yeah, I like that no one really does a great job at what they're doing, because the war kind of sucks. Like, the only person that is cool at all is the teacher with the metal
Ironside.
Ironside.
Yeah, he's really good in this.
Yeah,
he's always in whatever he's in. He's great because he just chews the scene so perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Clancy Brown is great too.
I was thinking while I'm watching this movie, this is the best Denise Richards acting I've ever seen. And it was, you're right, it was her overacting, which to a normal actor is just acting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I love the fact that the book, like Dylan said, is pretty much a pro-war movie, and that's what Verhoeven hated so much, and he wanted everyone to be really crappy actors because he knew some people were going to take it as a pro-war movie, so he wanted to make those people watch a bad movie, whereas the people that understood and were on the inside, he wanted them to get the joke, and I think that this has like that Strangelove kind of feel where like it's not shot like a comedy, but it is a comedy, and I think that's so brilliant.
Yeah, there's definitely some very funny things going on, and that all the newsreel stuff is a very Verhoeven thing to do. Yeah, that RoboCop is exactly the same way, and that's I think when he's his strongest is when he is making you a part of the movie that you're watching. Like that really draws you into what he's doing, and. And he does a very good job of saying something while also making, because this and RoboCop are both like, you can watch it as a satire, but you can also watch it as just a big dumb action movie, and it works as a big dumb action movie.
Yeah, because it's also a warning. Like if we don't check something, this could end up being how we live. Like in this military thing, like he's trying to say, "Hey, watch out! This is coming," because he sees it happening.
Yeah,
same with RoboCop and that, like, and you can see it. Like if Jeff Bezos gets any richer, he's gonna buy a city. Like he can buy Detroit and be like, "This is now Amazon."
Absolutely, there are plenty of. We'll get to that when we do RoboCop, which is my number 3. So that's coming up soon. So we will get to that, But yeah, what he's saying in this one is I really enjoyed how all of the propaganda commercials involve children. It's always small kids, like 10-year-old kids, and they are just like that scene where they're stomping on the cockroaches, the looks on their faces, it's like chilling to watch these
kind of
little,
like
and others like watching them and laughing hysterically while they stomp on these roaches. And it's scary to watch that, because that's what they're doing, is they're brainwashing these kids into, I can't wait to join the military when I'm old enough.
Yeah, and when you look at like the outfits of the people that we're supposed to be rooting, that is, anti-bug, all the outfits are designed after Nazi uniforms. Everything is Nazi propaganda, and we're rooting for these people. And that's the thing that Verhoeven wanted people to laugh at, was like, I don't know, am I pro-bug? Am I pro-Nazi? Where am I here?
Yeah, what am I doing?
But yeah, I think the cool thing that Verhoeven does, and he first, I think, displayed this in RoboCop, where the cool way to make you feel that you're in this world is to give the people in the world things to watch too. Like when you watch RoboCop, there's shows that people are watching in RoboCop that are so crazy. Wait, have I seen the alt-right propaganda? Oh, you mean that?
That's it's exactly this. The alt-right propaganda is exactly this, but people don't realize that, this is like, I bet there are a lot of people who will watch this movie and be like, on like totally on the side of the military, and like not get the Nazi, not get the Nazi stuff, not get the child propaganda stuff, not get,
because they're looking at it just like, this is a movie for entertainment, and because of the sequels also destroying the.
Has anyone seen any of the sequels?
I've seen 1 or 2 of them.
I've seen them all.
Any of them?
Yeah, I didn't see any of them either.
They're getting back to being what they're supposed to be about, because like I said earlier, everyone took this as just a goofy, weird action movie about killing bugs. So the sequel is very much kill bugs. The third one, which I think that one has Johnny Rico back in it, because he wasn't what's his name,
Van Dien.
Yeah, Van Dien. Yeah, so he wasn't in the second one, and I think the third one now, or the fourth one, is an animated movie. And I think that now there's a season or a series which I haven't seen or know anything about really.
Sequels are bad, Nick Malati, especially sequels of Paul Verhoeven movies, because I don't know if you've watched any of the RoboCop sequels either, but they are fucking rough.
Showgirls 2 is really bad.
Wait, what?
So RoboCop though, that one really should have been good sequels because the second one was directed by the guy who directed Empire Strikes Back.
And then the second one wasn't terrible,
right? And then the third one was
written
and directed by Frank Miller, I think.
But it's PG-13.
Yeah, the third one is wild.
And I do think that that's before Frank Miller went completely like alt-right insane person.
You're gonna have to find out, Nick. Do a Google search.
For some reason, I remember there being a Showgirls too, but
yeah, I don't know about that. I mean,
depends on the website you go to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be just not a theatrical release movie.
That was a definitely straight to DVD version.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get back to this movie, though. So, in the 23rd century, while colonizing new planets, humans have encountered a hostile, non-technological insectoid species known as the Arachnids, but commonly referred to as bugs. And the bugs appear to be a little more than savage, unrelenting killing machines that, and there are suggestions that they were unprovoked by the intrusion of humans in the habitat. Okay, now before we get on, so did everyone watch this movie when it first came out? Everyone like in the theaters in 97?
Mm-hmm.
I think
no?
so.
Yeah. I was 7 years old.
So?
Yeah, 97 is the year I graduated high school. That was 13, when everybody was working at the movie theater. So we definitely saw all of these movies for free.
I do distinctly remember watching this when I was 11 because my dad was a big fan of the book and he hadn't seen the movie. So he's like, "Yeah, we'll rent the movie," because he used to tell me sci-fi stuff when I was a kid. So he's like, "Yeah, we'll rent it." We get to the shower scene and he kind of looks at me and he goes,
"Fuck."
All right.
Yeah.
Just don't tell your mom.
So
that shower scene, man.
Yeah. Well, weird fun fact about that shower scene. When everyone read that shower scene, only 2 of the actors were like okay with it. Most people were like, "No, I will not do this." Verhoeven said, "I have an idea." And he came out and shot that scene completely nude so that everyone else would feel okay with being nude. So looking at an old saggy Dutch dong makes some 20-something beautiful people totally fine with being naked and real wet. But yeah, that's my favorite facts about this movie is that he did that scene.
I wish
naked.
I would have not heard you say real wet like that.
Real wet.
Clip that, please, and I'm gonna use that whenever he talks. Just like
This episode will be on YouTube.
This is why I don't cuss, because I don't want people capturing that. Okay, so Phil, you were 13 when you saw this in 97. What does a 13-year-old Canadian think of this movie?
It was a fun movie. Like, it was just an dumb action movie. Like, it was like there was like, you kind of sense that this was like maybe a take on Americanism, because it was that near your height of like all American, you know. So you kind of like, okay, maybe they're making a comment, but I'm not smart enough to understand it. And then, boobs, you know. Pretty much the 13-year-old, any 13-year-old male, you know, it's like boobs. And it was just like, okay, this is a fun action movie, and it's like, it's a World War II type movie, but in space, kind of like, that's how I looked at it. And then and then I watched it again and I'm like, holy shit, this is a take on Americanism that's like how we kind of see the world. Like, someone's saying, hey guys, this is what you look like to the rest of us. You guys notice? Like, for us, it's like, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's an American war movie. Okay, cool. Like, that's how we see you guys. Like,
yeah,
it's like, okay, like, it's like if you watch the Benghazi 13-hour movie, like, again, that, like, this is a horrible situation that happened, and then all of a sudden it's an action movie. So it kind of like, that's how I see it. Like, you guys are glorifying war, and in this movie, you guys, the propaganda arm is glorifying the war. So
yeah, and there's definitely an American military, like, I don't want to say dehumanizing the enemy, because we are talking about giant cockroaches, but they are talking about like, oh, these are stupid killing machines. They know nothing. They don't care. They just want us dead. But then as you progress through the movie, you see that these things are actually thinking and strategizing. But the people who are joining the army and who aren't getting, you know, that information, they just think they're killing, you know, big dumb bugs, which is sort of what the American military does to any enemy that we're fighting at the time. These aren't people, these are animals, and
these are terrorists.
All they want is us dead.
Yeah.
And and that still goes on obviously to this day.
Yeah, and it is pretty interesting watching a war film from someone who grew up in a Nazi-occupied part of the world. I mean, we grew up, not Phil, I can't speak for Phil, but, in America, we grew up like, we're the strongest and we're the fucking toughest and we've never lost a goddamn war, no matter what those guys tell you. Yes, Phil?
Yeah, we kind of burnt down your White House.
So, doesn't count. We weren't at war. Don't
yeah, no, we were.
We were at war. War of 1812.
That was,
dude. Honestly, we didn't even like that place, so you did us a favor. So
we
made like a way better one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually the Irish who were working for you. That's what's even funnier. The Finian boys decided to attack us, and we're like, "Well, fuck you."
If we didn't want you to find it, we'd have camouflaged it. We made it white. We said, "Get the fuck in here and burn it if you want to." But yeah. So, all right. Now, Michael, you are the same age as me, so we saw this about the same time. I graduated a year earlier because I'm smarter. Not a big deal. So, what did a 17-year-old think of this movie?
Boobs.
A dumb action movie with a bunch of boobs. Yeah. Like, I was thinking the same way that a 13-year-old Phil Better was thinking about it, because at that point in time, like, it was after high school until I started being interested in learning things. So up until then, I just got what, our public school system spoon-fed us. Like, that's what I knew. So I didn't care about the propaganda part or any of the other stuff. I was just watching a big, dumb action movie with several scenes with boobs in them. So, I mean, at 17, I wasn't that much different than I was at 13.
Yeah, true. I think one of the coolest
I'm
things
moving to another country, that's why, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Before that happens, I'll be fine.
Yeah, out of all the movies that Verhoeven did, though, he has gone on record saying that this is his favorite movie that he's done. This is his one that he rewatches out of everything else. And
it is a fun movie to watch. Yeah. Like, just watching it, because it is a dumb action movie. So like this, going in, like, the characters are horrible, so you just turn off the brain and you're like, they're shooting things. But when you want to, when you look at it, when you think about it afterwards, it's like, wow, there's like these poignant moments that you remember. So it's like you get a 2-for-1 type movie. You get the dumb action, and then afterwards, when you revisit it, because points pop up in your head, and you're like, oh man, yeah, that was great. That you see different things each time you watch it. So.
Special.
Yeah, and there's a couple things on my latest rewatch that I really didn't get, and I started doing some hardcore Googling, and because then I started thinking like, Johnny Rico lives in Buenos Aires. I mean, that's in Argentina. Why is he blonde hair? It turns out Verhoeven cast that on purpose because they're descendants of Nazis that went to Argentina after World War II, which is like, oh man, this is so cool. Like, he went meta
really
on that
deep
shit.
on this one,
yeah,
which is cool. It was definitely noticeable that they all had like slightly Latino like names, and they were from Buenos Aires, and they were all blue-eyed white people.
Yep.
Like,
I thought that was that.
With a nice tan, like a good, like you can get them tan, it's a white tan going on. It's
but when Denise Richards looks into the camera with those close-ups, there are a lot of close-ups of Denise Richards' face, which, I mean, 1996 Denise Richards, like, that's what you want.
Oh.
You want close-ups of her big, beautiful blue eyes. And hollow smile.
She does kind of have a hollow smile.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
is weird, yeah.
And her acting style is always vacant.
Yeah.
I mean, her interview style is also vacant, and I imagine her living style is vacant as well.
Yeah. So obviously, you got Casper Van Dien as Johnny Rico, the main star or hero, I guess, of this thing. You got Denise Richards as like his love, who doesn't love him because she'd rather be a pilot, I think. You got Dina Meyer, who plays Dizzy, who's awesome. She's like
She's
the girl who-
awesome.
Oh, she's
awesome.
great.
Yeah, the
Literally
best.
the
I think the best character next to Michael Ironside, just because she's a badass bitch. Like it's just,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Then,
I got a friend like that. How do I get a friend like that?
Yeah. Then the cast list gets really cool
Yeah.
though, because you get Neil Patrick Harris, which on set apparently he was called Doogie Himmler, which I thought was very funny. I thought that was great. Then you get Jake Busey in probably his best role.
Jake Busey is great in this
He's very
movie,
good.
and he also he looks great in this movie. And
Yeah.
I was like, what? How did they not cast him in the Street Fighter movie over RCVD?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like he would have
Yeah.
been great as Guile in that Street
Perfect,
Fighter
yeah.
movie. Yeah,
That
he looked
fucking hair.
awesome.
Yeah. And then like Dylan said, you got Clancy Brown, who is the best voice on the planet.
Oh,
Yep.
Like,
Kurgan.
Yeah.
He's definitely in the top 3 best voices on the planet.
Yeah. Patrick Muldoon is Xander, which is a like a weirdo, whatever.
He's
Michael Ironside,
horrible.
horrible.
He's
He's horrible. He's a horrible person. Every time I see him, I can't stand him. Like as soon as I see him, I'm like, this guy sucks.
Yeah. Michael Ironside, like everyone says, everyone's favorite. But there was one casting
Yep.
that
I know
blew
who you're
my
gonna get.
effing mind. When I saw this in like 97, I knew exactly what it was because, woo boy,
Yep.
am I a Golden Girls? And Miss
I have that shirt.
Rue McClanahan
Yep.
is in this movie.
Blanche.
The beautiful Blanche is in there. She's the one with the scarred up face that teaches people how to cut up bugs. And I saw her, I was like, Blanche is the cool teacher. That was so cool. And
I
I'm
did
like,
not know that.
Yeah, the
Oh.
biology teacher who instructs them how to dissect the bugs with the accent. Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful Southern Belle. Rue
Say,
McClanahan.
perfect evolved organism.
Absolutely love
Glasses.
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Dude,
That
she's
scene-
so great.
That scene sort of stuck out as being like the dumbest scene in the movie because they are not dissecting these insects. He's just like
Oh, yeah.
pulling the guts out and
Yeah.
what are they supposed to be learning there?
Yeah.
Where to shoot.
How to kill it. Yep. How to kill it. But yeah, so what else? Yeah, so Rue McClanahan was obviously my favorite thing. And this movie's very quotable too, which is so great. I remember leaving here and every
He also
time
has Dean Norris.
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, yeah. Dean Norris, Hank from Breaking Bad.
oh yeah, right. Oh, that's right. He's like
Which-
one arm or something, right?
Which is funny.
Commanding
No,
officer, yeah.
he's the commanding officer of the training camp.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he is, I think, 5 years older than Casper Van Dien.
Ooh,
He's only 5 years older. He was like
Yeah,
38 when they made this movie.
that is rough. That is rough. But yeah, so whenever I leave a beach, I always say like, I always wanted to go to Zagama Beach. Where do you guys think Zagama Beach is? Was that like it was a different
Hawaii.
planet, right? I thought it was a different planet.
Eh,
Are they
Might
planet?
be.
I don't know. I have no
I don't
idea.
know.
they
I
are
just-
planet hopping, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't
Seems
affect
like-
anything.
Yeah, it is
Only
also sort of an alternate Earth.
That's it.
So
Klendathu and Earth are the only planets that matter in this movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So in this movie, what happens is in the United Citizen Federation, which I guess is Earth, maybe
Earth,
who knows?
Yeah, it's
It's all on the planet.
Yeah, citizenship is earned by performing activities such as military service, which grants individuals opportunities prohibited to basic civilians. So in this concept, you pretty much have to go to the military to become a citizen. And you know, obviously that kind of idea has been tweaked around with other concepts and other genres before. But I think this one does a very good job at it because they don't tell you that it's a bad idea. Like you're so into it, because everyone's like, I want to be a civilian and I want to be a civilian. So it's interesting that the audience members have to tell themselves like, I think this is wrong. I don't think this is the right thing to do.
In the
And
original, go for it, Michael.
and again, that's because they're getting to them from the time they're able
Yeah.
to comprehend anything. Your duty is to be in the military.
Yeah.
Protect
This-
Earth.
This is kind of in the book to the logical conclusion of what happens when you realize there are hostile alien species out there. Like, you got to unite the planet. And the way they justify it in this is saying the only way to protect Earth is to lock everybody into the system. And if you're not in it, you don't get to vote. And the interesting thing is that a lot of the people who haven't done their service are just kind of like Rico's dad is like, I went to Harvard. You're going to Harvard. I don't need to vote. Why would I need to vote? The military does that. And it's treated as this kind of like
Second class.
We've moved past people thinking participation is important, which is a really weird thing to like conceptualize right now, that participation is something that you can just be like, I don't need to take part in this. And some people look down on it.
Yeah.
It's very Roman, very historically like Roman Empire, where it's like the academics are separate from the government, which is military.
Yeah. Now, looking at this movie now, how do you feel Casper Van Dien does as Johnny Rico?
I can't imagine anyone else in the role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
Perfect.
I
Like,
was
it's
surprised
just
at how good he
cheesed.
was. Yeah.
He's
He
good.
was-
He's actually not a bad actor. He just needs to be in a specific type of movie.
Yeah, he's good in Sleepy Hollow. But yeah, I agree. Now, Casper Van Dien was actually Verhoeven's third choice. Did you know that, Dylan?
No.
So the first choice was Mark Wahlberg. He was given an open invitation, like he didn't have to come to read at all. Second choice, James Marsden, which is interesting, and I can also see that.
He's got the jawline.
He's got a good jawline.
He's got the recruiting poster look.
Yeah.
James Marsden does always play a very generic, like hero-y.
The term you're looking
character.
for James Marsden is himbo.
Yeah, himbo.
He plays a super attractive, not very competent dude.
Yeah, but
he does.
Also, I can't stand his face, and I can watch Casper Van Dien and things. So, much better choice.
Yeah. I would hate to see Mark Wahlberg in this, although I think that his acting style would have been absolutely perfect for this.
It's like kind of like Casper Van Dien, Mark Wahlberg in this role, because it's like perfectly suited for both of them. Like,
Mark Wahlberg. I can see Mark Wahlberg being in the movie and being like a tertiary character, but not like a Clancy Brown, in it that much. But not as the main character. No, he's obnoxious when he's in a movie too much.
Yeah.
Well, Chris would disagree with you, and I'm just standing up for Chris. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, except for The Happening, he's always unpleasant to watch.
So once these guys get out of high school, that's when they get recruited. I guess it's based on their scores or something. I really don't know. But Johnny Rico,
IQ, pretty much.
Yeah, so he gets into the military. He goes to the Mobile Infantry, and then you have Carmen Ibanez, and she is a pilot. And then you have the psychic, who's Carl Jenkins, and he. So, did you guys think that? Now there was like an idea that there was no actual psychics, that it was more like kind of Nazi propaganda to see if people could brain manipulate people. Do you think there was ever any he did show psychic ability or no?
Yeah, he did.
I think he did. Yeah, I did enjoy the digital version of Peter Venkman's thing from Ghostbusters 2. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
it was just like, but this is the future, so it's on a computer screen. But it's just Peter Venkman's card trick.
He tells the ferret to go attack his mom or something like that.
Yeah.
There is, and then he touches the bug. I'm jumping ahead, and it's kind of like, because Hitler is known to have been dealing with the occult and and mind powers and all that. So if they are going that these are the descendants of Nazi Germany, so they would have continued pushing that, I guess studies and that, and then finally you're trying to breed it into society or something.
Yeah. And Casper Van Dien does say, you were the one who sent me over to where Denise Richards was, right? And he's like, I can't tell you that, but
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he gets a feeling. He's like, oh, I need to go over here.
Yep. So I think he definitely does have the psychic powers.
Yeah.
Psychics aren't in the book. Not mentioned ever. I'm just saying. I know we don't compare the book and stuff, but this is inevitable because they're so
You say that every time.
I was going to say that every
single time.
Every
do.
book he
Always
reviews-
inevitable.
Yep. Every book he reviews, he's like, well, there's no psychics in the book, so whatever.
I like psychics in my science fiction. Yeah.
Yeah, what's
true.
even the point of a science fiction book if there's no psychics?
Yeah. So once Rico enlisted in Mobile Infantry, that's when he surprised that Dizzy obviously joined it, and people think that Dizzy joined because he's in it. And I'm assuming that that's true because I think she deliberately transferred to his squad.
Yeah, I think she does say it outright that she did join because of him.
So
because everybody's giving Johnny shit for joining because of a girl when she's the one who also does it. Yeah.
Yeah. And in basic training, they get trained pretty crazy. Like the one guy throws a knife at Jake Busey's hand, which is cool. And then you have that one cadet who, for some reason, like in the middle of the training, he like takes his helmet off and
because he couldn't see, he didn't have his
right, it kept
HUD.
slipping down, right.
Yeah.
And so Rico tells him to take it off, and then he gets shot, and that's when Rico gets flogged, and then he gets dismissed. And as he's walking out,
He doesn't get dismissed. He dismisses himself.
Yeah.
he quits. Right.
He
takes the flogging
he
and
took
leaves.
the punishment. Like, and that again, corporal punishment in the military, like that is harsh because they strap him down. Like that was another chilling scene. Like you fucked up, so we are going to whip you.
Right.
10
And
lashes.
He takes it, and then he quits
Like a champ.
exactly
Like a champ. Right on the back.
That's when he calls his parents to ask if he returned home, but he rescinds his resignation after an asteroid reportedly to have been launched by the Arachnids obliterates Buenos Aires, killing his parents and millions of others. Now, do we think that the asteroid was actually sent off by the Arachnids, or was this more propaganda so that we can go attack and look for oil on Clendathu?
The asteroid was definitely an inside job.
Yeah.
That's fully inside job.
Michael says false flag.
Classic. Yeah. Love that. Love that. So an invasion force is deployed to Clendathu, the Arachnids' home planet, but the operation severely underestimates the Arachnids and is a total disaster. Rico is severely wounded and mistakenly reported killed in action. After recovering, he, Ace, and Dizzy are reassigned to the Roughnecks, which is an elite group commanded by Lieutenant Gene Razak. Ratsack.
Ratchik.
Yeah. They're
Ratchik.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ratchik's Roughnecks. Yeah.
The teacher from a year ago.
The former high school teacher, right?
Yeah.
So he quickly gains the respect of his peers and is promoted to the top rank of corporal after taking out a tanker bug, which is a kind of a cool scene. But that is one of the scenes where the CGI does not hold up very well. It gets a little weird there.
That's a scene that you can definitely tell was for, film in the theaters and VHS tapes. And when they when they remaster some of these movies,
they should have been like, let's just fix this up a little, touch it up.
Normally, I thought the bugs looked pretty good. The standard Arachnid soldiers, I thought pretty good. That's okay.
Well, not no one.
Thank you, Nick, for pointing it out.
Our fifth panelist, Nick Milotti, did point out that he said realized.
Yeah.
I caught it. I just couldn't repronounce what he was saying. There was a lot of sound, and I'm like, no one else is saying anything. I'm not going to try to be the first one to fuck up again.
Dylan told me to try my Canadian accent more to make Phil feel at home, and I don't know how to roll my N's very well, or whatever it is you guys do. So
I think they replace S's with Z's.
Oh,
and use different
use with
Zeds,
two O's with an umlaut.
Yeah,
a lot of things with
hey.
So that's also when what's his name, Rico? Rico and Dizzy they have sex right during their night in Tango Arilla in that one tent, which is like 4 minutes long or something because they're late.
I did not need to see Phil Better do his sex face. So if you're just listening to this audio, you audio,
You're safe. You're safe.
you definitely missed Phil Better's sex face, and
You should come check out the YouTube channel.
Yeah, please leave in the comments. And how many reels would you give?
It's at
Phil's
about
sex
a
face?
44-minute mark. It's at the 44-minute mark about.
Yeah.
Thank you for time stamping it.
Yeah, we're gonna timestamp this. All right, so the Roughnecks respond to the distress call from Planet P, where they reconnoiter an outpost that has been devastated by bugs. They soon realize that the distress call was a trap, and the Arachnids swarmed the outpost. Now, is it our understanding that the brain bug is the smart one and tells all the bugs what to do, or are the bugs themselves pretty smart?
I think they have a bit of intelligence. Like
It's
they can
both.
go. They're like, oh, we should do this because fuck them. But also, they're like, if they're not being told, they're like, I'm just gonna go grab some ass over here.
But
You
they're
know?
also it's also an analog for actual, like, for human military, because you know, the brain bug is like the commander who tells everybody what to do, and the soldiers do this, and everybody has a role to play.
It's like a bug colony, so it's exactly like how.
So
a
they're
bug
not.
colony would
Yeah,
be.
nobody's mindless, but they are waiting for orders to do certain things for sure.
So now Rico, who is the acting sergeant, he euthanizes a mortally wounded Ratchik after a buried tanker bug bites off his leg. Dizzy's then killed, but the surviving Roughnecks are rescued by Carmen and Xander. Yucky boy. I hate that man. Rico and Carmen encounter
Super
Carl.
pretty boy.
He is pretty. He's got a lot of gel, but he's pretty.
Yeah.
So Rico and Carmen encounter Carl, now a high-ranking intelligence officer, at Dizzy's funeral.
He shows up in a straight like Nazi uniform with everything except
Okay,
the armband.
when I first saw it, I was like, this seems wrong.
Yeah.
This
This
something
feels-
I've seen before that was wrong. I can't put
my
watching
my
back,
wife
it's
was
oh,
like,
Nazism.
yeah, my wife was like, I remember Neil Patrick Harris being the villain of this movie. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you just remember that outfit that he's wearing at the end, because he's not the villain.
Yeah.
He
I mean,
just,
Trust the other one.
he's not the
He's the state.
antagonist,
he's not the antagonist,
but he
but
admits
he's
that
not
he-
going against the interests of the people we are following in this movie.
True, but we do learn that the mobile infantry was used as bait, and Rico confronts him about it, and
Yeah.
he's just like, "There's stuff that I know that you can't know.
Mhm.
This is how society works." And Rico's like, "Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool
yeah.
with that because that's society."
Yeah,
it's-
because that's
it's the way it
society,
is.
and
Like
that's
us, because we have free will. We can be like, no, fuck, wait, no,
Yeah.
no. But because the military are the only people that can vote, and they go, and the military is led by the scientists who technically are your politicians, right? Then, oh, you're right. If I voted for you to be in power, so you must be right, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I have two questions before we move on to like the rest of the movie. First, why they brought Casper Van Dien back from the dead? Why didn't they do the same with Dizzy? Like, she was sort of the same ranking. They should have just brought her back.
Yeah.
And second, what are these bugs eating on their home planet? Because they show like a lot of that planet, and it is all desolate. There is no vegetation anywhere. There's no anything besides the bugs. Are they just eating their own dead, or are they cannibalistic?
That's why they're trying to conquer new worlds.
Yeah, but
that's movie.
I'm gonna say the brain.
Okay, Dylan. Sorry, Dylan.
I'm gonna say the brain bug can excrete some sort of protein.
Oh no!
There's some slurm.
Okay, Soylent Green is bugs too. That's where we're gonna go with that. Okay, so at the funeral, though, Carl reveals that there's a reason to believe an intelligent brain bug is directing the other bugs and has been learning how to fight humans. He field promotes Rico to lieutenant and gives him command of the Roughnecks, ordering the mobile infantry units under his control to return to P in attempt to capture the brain bug. So obviously I didn't talk about the tattoo, but after that scene is when you get the weird fight and the cool Roughnecks tattoo. Now, if tattoos were that fast and that, I guess, painless. I mean,
No,
it seemed like
it didn't
kind
look
of
like it. It looked like it
painless.
was hurt a lot more than a regular tattoo.
I don't know, man. Tattoos do not feel good. I have a bunch, and they
So do
all
I,
hurt
but
and
I'm like,
burn.
Yeah,
But this is lasering.
yeah.
into
I've
your skin.
never
3 to 5
made the
seconds.
face. I've never made the face that Casper Van Dien is making
Yeah,
when he's getting that tattoo.
I never made any
That's
face
out.
Casper Van Dien made in this movie.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, we're not good enough. We're not good looking enough to actually make any of those faces. So it doesn't
Speak
matter.
for yourself, Zach.
I will, and I'll speak for everyone else while I'm doing it. Now, after that, the fleet encounters unexpected heavy fire from the bugs, and Carmen's ship is destroyed. And Carmen and Xander's escape pod crashes into a bug tunnel system near Rico, and they're surrounded by bugs. And the brain bug uses its proboscis to pierce Xander's skull and eats his brain. Not great special effects, but very, very cool every single time.
It's just satisfying. Like you can see how bad it is, but at the same time, you're like, I respect you for going trying.
Yeah,
because this is fucking awesome. That's what I want to see, but more gore, please.
And it's Verhoeven.
Yeah,
is this the way that they're getting, military intelligence is just by sucking the brains out? And that's how
the women used to do it. They used to suck the brains out of men.
Yeah, and I will say that ever since 1990.
Feel better, everybody.
I love how it was just like Dylan got it first, Michael caught it, and then Zach was like, "Fuck."
Yeah,
I was trying to ignore it, but I couldn't because everybody shut up.
Yeah, what was it? Oh yeah. Anyway, so since 1997, I have always thought whenever I'm drinking a Capri Sun, it is always Xander's head. If it's a juice box, if it's anything, it is always Xander's head. I'm like, I'm getting all this information. Which is gross.
I have Kool-Aid jammers out in my kitchen. That's what I'm going to be thinking about after we're done here, because I'm definitely going to drink some Purplesaurus Rex.
It reminded me a little bit of Scanners at the end, where Michael Ironside, who's in this movie, gets like lit on fire or something, whatever it is. Yeah.
And then pretty much the only thing that Denise Richards does after, I guess the brain bug's about to eat her brain. And that's when she cuts off his proboscis with a knife. Rico, Watkins, and Ace arrive and threaten the bug with a small nuclear bomb, which the brain bug recognizes, which is gross when the brain bug recognizes this thing. Watching that nasty, weird maggot like comprehend something was one of the nastiest things that I think that I can possibly like.
You're buying into the propaganda, man.
I wish they didn't close up on that disgusting hole with the foam coming out of it.
Oh, that was just nasty.
And
I was
they held on it so long and just kept going back to it like 3 times. And I'm like,
yeah, they do.
I do not want to look at this thing. And I saw somebody comment earlier, bad special effects, but believable.
Yeah.
And Connor Smith, amazingly horrible special effects, yet believable. Yep. And for the most part, that's accurate. Mm-hmm. Like when he slam dunks the grenade into that like hole in the ass end of that one bug, when it explodes, it looks awesome. Yeah. And you can tell that it's all CG'd, and 1996, 1995 computer generated effects usually don't hold up, but that one looked pretty good.
Yeah. Now, the budget of this, though, they had $105 million budget, which is a lot of money, especially for 97. Now, its opening weekend, it only took in $22 million. Total gross domestic was $54 million. So it was really recognized as a straight-up failure. And if it wasn't for VHS, this thing would not have done well whatsoever. I
think that's pretty typical, though, because Total Recall... I think RoboCop did well in the theaters, but I think Total Recall, even though that was Schwarzenegger at his prime, I don't think that was like a huge box office hit.
I think Casper Van Dien was at the top of his time too.
No, not this movie.
But he was at the prime of like the heartthrob era. Because the 90s, he like from that period, like I think probably 94 to maybe 2003 was prime pretty boy looking.
That was
Cookie
Dawson's,
Cutter.
Yeah, that was Dawson's Creek era of TV where people just wanted to look at pretty people doing stuff.
After even if it was Return of the King, nobody wanted.
Even if it was like getting bug guts splattered all over their face.
Because you can't believe, like you're like, there is nobody in the army that pretty. There is not. You can tell right off the bat that it's a propaganda movie. There's no one that pretty.
So
I apologize to every single person in the military. You are all gorgeous in your own way, but I know a lot of military people, and I've yet to see anyone look as good as Casper Van Diem and
Jake Busey.
Jake Busey.
I don't know, man. I think Jake Busey looks good in this movie.
He looks good in this
besides his
movie.
weird mouth.
Yeah.
Well,
He's got a big
like
mouth.
I can see him in the military and working fine in the military. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even that drill instructor that they had was like pretty good looking.
Clancy Brown's a handsome man.
Yeah, Clancy Brown looks great in this movie.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Now, of all the bugs, though, like 98% of the bugs were CGI. They did make a couple of actual real-size bugs just so the actors would know what it is. But the cool thing is that before every scene where there was bugs, Verhoeven told the actors to look at him, and he would portray every single bug that they could possibly look at. So if any actor is looking at a bug off-screen or a CGI bug, they are staring at Verhoeven doing alligator hands.
And he's naked.
Yeah, well, that's
his saggy Dutch balls are just swinging.
Yeah, honestly, it makes everybody more comfortable, and that's.
Oh my god! I killed Phil Better the podcast.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Oh no! He's back.
All right, well, let's get close to the end of this movie. All right, so after the brain bug looks at this nuclear bomb, they flee while the brain bug makes his escape. Arachnids pursue them, and Watkins, now mortally wounded, sacrifices himself by detonating the bomb, enabling the others to escape. After returning to the surface, they find that former Sergeant Zim, who has been requested a demotion to private so he could serve at the front, has captured the brain bug. Carl tells Rico and Carmen that the humans will soon be victorious now that military intelligence can study the brain bug. Carl mentally scans the bug and reveals that it was afraid and to cheer of the troops. So he's like, this thing's scared of us, which is stupid. But I will say, go ahead.
That was the biggest piece of propaganda, because he's like touches him. I'm trying to find my camera here. He like touches his head, and he's like, oh, he's afraid. And you would like, a normal human would be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be. But these guys are like, fuck yes, he's afraid. Of course he is.
You have the enemy being afraid of you. You have a drill sergeant taking a willing demotion so he can serve in the field.
What propaganda! I gotta kill something. Take my money. I just want to kill something.
Yeah, it's a propaganda ending.
No, I love it. And then what do we get? We got a propaganda clip shows Carmen, Ace, and Rico as model servicemen encouraging viewers to enlist in the armed forces. So much about this movie is not in the book, but I think better than if they were to make a movie out of that book. So overall takeaways, what do you guys think?
Fucking great. I love it. It's fun. It's pure fun.
Yeah,
it's like
I think the only director who can do this exact thing is Verhoeven. Like, make a movie that's this much fun and is also saying something. And I think that's definitely tainted my enjoyment of like Tomorrow War. You know, when we did Tomorrow War last week, people were like, oh, it was just a fun movie, just watch it. And it's like, well, I know that a fun movie can also be saying something. And that, I think, is important, that your movie's not just watchable. It's fun and watchable and also says something, anything.
Yeah. A couple cool things though. So this movie was tested on some audience members, like every movie was, and they had to do a couple little tweaks to the movie based on what the audience said. Now, what is everyone's main gripe with this movie? If there's one big thing you would change or anything at all, what would it be?
I want an updated Blu-ray release where they update the CGI.
Okay, that's fair.
That's it.
I really can't say that. These are test audiences 97 were complaining, and which
okay.
Yeah.
I just like, if I was I imagine that the test audiences were what sort of amped up the romance stuff, And I'm not saying get rid of the romance stuff, but it doesn't need to be front and center like it is in this movie.
So here's the weird thing. The test audiences hated Denise Richards. Now, there was originally a love triangle between, Rico, Xander, and Denise, but the audience hated her and Rico together so much that they had these weird scenes that they had to kind of put in there. So they rewrote those to be more like Dizzy's roles, which is why they had to keep some of the stuff. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And also one tidbit that I wanted to ask Dylan about is, so in the book, the teacher and the leader of the Roughnecks are two different characters. Now, the movie, they combine those two characters, and I think that makes a better propaganda move because you're like, oh, now you're teaching against the war, now you're pro-war. Now, do you remember that in a book, or how are your feelings based on that?
He doesn't teach against the war. His teacher, what is it? It's like history and moral reasoning or something like that. But the book, this movie's an actually relatively faithful adaptation of the novel, except that the novel is almost entirely boot camp and officer training. The Bug War is a really minor part of the actual narrative. But like all of the names, all the character stuff, except for Dizzy and the romance, pretty much happens. Carl dies in the book instead of becoming a psychic. But
you have Doogie Howser. You just need to. He can't die.
Right.
You can't kill Doogie Howser.
But the book takes itself very seriously. The book is not corny. The book is not cheesy or like 90210 style. It takes itself very seriously as like a military novel.
Yeah. Now, this thing was up for some accolades. Does anybody know what kind of awards this thing has won or would have won?
Kids' Choice Award.
Best Picture.
So it was nominated for a number of awards in '98, including Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. It actually won a Saturn Award for Best Costumes and Best Special Effects at the 1998 Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, and was nominated for Worst Picture at Stinker's Bad Movie, but lost to Batman and Robin. So yeah, there's that.
That was the right call.
I did the right call there. Yeah.
I completely agree. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
Wait. Can we do our reels?
Well, I was about to. I was going to talk about next couple episodes and then send everybody off.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Phil's been gone so long that he forgot.
It has been a while. I forgot how we end the show. I apologize.
I've been gone so long. I don't even know how to end the show. I'm just talking right now. So that's it. But yeah, so that was our view on Starship Troopers. We're going to get to reels in a second. But yeah, so on Monday though, we're going to get back into Breakfast Club, which we've tried to do a couple times now. But we're actually humans and we have real lives. And sometimes our lives break apart and sometimes things catch on fire. So whatever. But either way, Breakfast Club comes on Monday. And then on next Friday, we're going to hit Space Jam 2, which was requested by, I think, I'm not going to say who requested it. We all know who did it. It is a
Michael
family
Colby.
Well, no, but a very close relative to Michael Colby.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. I've never seen the first Space Jam. Am I going to be lost for this one?
No,
I highly doubt it.
Please do not watch the first one.
It doesn't hold up.
Yeah, it does not hold up. It'll make you very, very mad. It actually makes zero sense. And I would love to hear someone's point of view who does not know what the first one's about. So please do not watch the first one.
Michael,
I know what it's about.
Well, I know, but
Space Jam, but I've never, I know that Michael Jordan gets pulled in to fight.
Okay, that's all you need to
play
know.
basketball against some big monsters.
Yeah, he gets pulled into a golf hole, which means all Looney Tunes takes place in the center of the Earth. I don't understand it. It was not ahead of its time. It is an absolute
ahead of the time.
Movie.
It is for the movie we reviewed.
That movie makes no
Space
sense.
Jam.
That movie is so stupid. Either way, next Friday, Space Jam 2. But yeah, so one at a time. Let's get into our goodbyes and our reels. Let's start with Dylan Terry. Mr. Dylan Terry, what do you got, buddy?
I love this movie. I like the book. I didn't finish my reread in time for the episode, but whatever. I'm giving this an 8. It's really solid. It's not perfect, but like I can sit down and put this on and enjoy it pretty much any time. So it's an 8 for me.
Yeah.
Go find me on some nobody stuff. Silicon Angel, CYOP Appeal, Talking Upstream, Twitch and Upstream, No Time to Binge on Wednesdays. And check out Apostrophe's digital magazine where I have articles showing up every month. And those are about podcasting, so I hope that they're useful to someone. And that's all I got.
Hell yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
No, not me. How about you?
How about I go? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
I already did all my stuff, so I'm gonna plug Silicon Angels because I fucking love that show. Definitely go listen to that if you haven't. And I've listened to it like 3 times through. It's great. I'm giving this movie 8.7 reels because Dylan hates it when we even go with half reels. So
oh geez.
So yeah, the movie's great. I was so glad that it held up. I wasn't surprised, but I'm always glad when something I liked when I was a kid holds up. And this, I mean, maybe more now than back in 97. It really like says something. So definitely, if you didn't watch this, and you're listening to this for some reason, go watch it. It rules. And even Denise Richards' acting isn't offensive. So that's all I have to say. Bye.
Bye.
I am Phil Better, the podcast mogul. I host Invest in Yourself, the digital entrepreneur podcast, the Phil Better Show, Better Paying podcast, as well as Stock Dirty to Me. You can find everything at my Instagram at podcaster Phil Better. This movie is awesome. It's fun. It's just, if you want to look at it smart and thinking, you can, or if you just want to turn off your brain and watch people kill bugs, you can do that. 8.5 reels from me, and good night, everyone.
I love it. Thank you, Phil. Yeah. So, dude, what do you? Get out of here, Phil. All right. So, I'm going to give this thing 8.5. I think it is an amazing movie. I definitely did not get it when I was younger. Rewatching it, I love it. I think it's super great and such a great piece of anti-propaganda, if that's a thing. Maybe propaganda for the other side. Either way. So, what? 8.5 for me, which gives a total of, let me count real fast, 33.7, which makes it an average of 8.4 reels out of the dudes that are on today. So please, once again, if you're still listening to this or watching this, let us know what you think. How many reels would you give Starship Troopers, the great Verhoeven thing? It made a beautiful franchise. Either way, like Dylan said, you can check us out on everything. You can see us on Mondays doing our stuff. You can see us on Tuesdays doing our stuff. You can see us on Wednesdays doing our stuff. But until next time, guys, goodbye. I'll see you soon. Dylan, play that track.
Drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody drop these. Everybody.
Aw, he wants to go off-road!
You ain't gonna shoot that shot when you got the land?
Yo, he was right on my ass, man.
You were wide open.
Who wrote this?
I did.
Ask him if he got the letter.
Did you get the letter?
What letter? What's up, man? About to catch a fade, huh?
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya.
Living dead.
Drop these. Everybody.